While Mercedes has been trying to make everyone believe they are in trouble, a different story is unfolding at the Red Bull racing team. The team from Milton Keynes has arrived in Bahrain with a brand new engine, built in-house for the very first time in partnership with Ford. Many people in the paddock expected them to have a lot of problems, but instead, Red Bull has shown amazing reliability and some very interesting performance, which has made their rivals very nervous. At the same time, Mercedes has been trying to point the finger at Red Bull, claiming they have a huge advantage, in a clear attempt to move the attention away from their own secret engine trick. Throughout the preseason test in Bahrain, the new Red Bull engine, called the Red Bull Powertrain, has been very impressive. The team completed a huge number of laps over the 3 days, and the car did not suffer any major breakdowns. Verstappen himself said it was amazing to see a new engine manufacturer come into the sport and be so reliable from the start. He joked that no one really expected that from the start, that we would go out of the garage without exploding. This shows how worried the team was before the test, and how happy they are with the results so far. His new teammate, Isaac Hajar, agreed, saying the performance was way beyond what he expected. He mentioned that there were rumors at the end of last year that the team was not completely satisfied with how the engine project was going, but after driving 110 laps without any issues during the first shakedown in Barcelona, he was very positively surprised. He called the achievement very impressive for a team that only started their own engine project 3 years ago. This strong start for Red Bull has not gone unnoticed by their rivals, especially Mercedes. The boss of the Mercedes team, Toto Wolff, has been very vocal in trying to paint Red Bull as the team to beat. He claimed that the Red Bull car and engine are the benchmark, and that they have a huge advantage in how they use their electrical energy. He even said that Red Bull is a second a lap faster than everyone else over a race distance. This is a huge claim, and it is almost certainly a big exaggeration. Mercedes is currently in the middle of a big fight with the other teams over their own engine, which is believed to have a clever and possibly illegal trick. By saying Red Bull is so much faster, Wolff is trying to make his own team look like the underdog. It is a classic mind game, designed to take the pressure off Mercedes and put it all on Red Bull. If everyone is talking about how fast Red Bull is, they might not pay as much attention to what Mercedes is doing. Red Bull, however, is not falling for this trick. Their technical director, Pierre Wash, has publicly analysis shows that Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren are all faster than them, and that Red Bull is currently the 4th fastest team. This is, of course, also a mind game. Red Bull does not want to admit how fast they really are, because that would only give their rivals more motivation. By saying they are behind, they are trying to lower expectations and keep the pressure off their own team. This back and forth between Red Bull and Mercedes is a fascinating game of poker, with both teams trying to bluff each other. Liam Lawson, one of Red Bull's other drivers, just laughed when he heard Wolff's claim about being a second a lap faster. He said, "1 second faster than everybody? Who said that? Oh my god." While he admitted that the new engine is working very, very well, he made it clear that he does not believe they have such a big advantage. One of the most interesting technical stories to come out of the Bahrain test is the different ways the teams are trying to get energy back into their batteries. The new 2026 rules have a 50-50 split between the petrol engine and the electric motor, so finding clever ways to recharge the battery is very important. Red Bull and Audi have been seen using a very aggressive downshifting technique. Their drivers are shifting down to very low gears, like first or second, much earlier and more often than the other teams. This makes the engine rev very high, which helps to spin the turbo and generate more electricity. Max Verstappen was the first driver to be seen using this trick, and it seems to be giving Red Bull an advantage in how they manage their energy over a lap. Interestingly, Mercedes seems to be unable or unwilling to copy this trick. It is believed that their secret engine design, which gives them a higher compression ratio, also makes the engine more likely to be damaged by the sudden high revs caused by aggressive downshifting. This is a fascinating situation where one advantage, the compression ratio trick, might be preventing them from using another advantage, the downshifting trick. This shows how complex the new 2026 cars are, and how every design choice has both good and bad sides. It also means that the fight for the championship might not just be about who has the most powerful engine, but also about who has the smartest overall package. Despite the positive start, Red Bull is still being very careful. Wacha has said that the team is never happy and that there are still many challenges to overcome. The new cars have a lot less downforce than the old ones, which makes them much harder to drive. The drivers are sliding around a lot more, which is bad for the tires. Lawson said the cars are pretty tough to drive, and that the loss of downforce is the biggest problem. The drivers are much busier in the cockpit, and they're still learning how to get the most out of the new cars, especially when it comes to managing the battery during qualifying and the race. Verstappen has also been very critical of the new cars, saying they are not fun to drive and feel like Formula E on steroids. He is not happy with the direction the sport is going in, and Red Bull knows that the only way to keep him happy is to give him a winning car. Watch said, "It's not my goal to make him happy. We can make him happy by winning the race." So, where does Red Bull really stand? It is impossible to say for sure. Testing is famously unreliable, as teams are all running different programs with different fuel loads and engine settings. Verstappen himself has said that he has no idea where they are in the pecking order, and that he is not really very worried about that either. He knows that the real picture will only become clear at the first race in Melbourne. However, the signs are very positive for Red Bull. Their new engine is reliable, which is a huge achievement for a brand new project. Their car looks good on track, and they have already found a clever trick to help with energy recovery. The fact that Mercedes is so focused on them is also a good sign. It shows that the German team sees Red Bull as a major threat. The battle between these two top teams is already heating up, and the season has not even started yet. The mind games, the technical tricks, and the fight for every small advantage are what make Formula One so exciting. And as we head towards the first race, it looks like Red Bull is in a very strong position to fight for the championship once again. The team that many expected to struggle has come out of the gate swinging, proving that you can never count them out. Their journey as a new engine manufacturer has started in the best possible way, and the whole paddock is now watching them very, very closely. The story of Red Bull powertrains is a testament to the team's ambition. When Honda announced they were leaving F1 at the end of 2021, Red Bull was faced with a choice: become a customer team again and buy engines from a rival like Ferrari or Mercedes, or take on the massive challenge of building their own. They chose the harder path. They created a brand new company, Red Bull Powertrains, and invested hundreds of millions of dollars to build a state-of-the-art factory in Milton Keynes. They hired some of the best engineers in the world, including many from their main rival, Mercedes. This was a huge risk, as building a competitive F1 engine is one of the hardest things to do in engineering. The fact that their new engine has been so reliable from the very beginning is a huge victory for the team, and a sign of how serious they are about winning. The partnership with Ford, a giant of the car industry, adds even more credibility to the project. While Ford's role is mostly financial and marketing based, their name on the engine cover is a big statement. The contrast between Red Bull's quiet confidence and Mercedes' loud complaints is one of the biggest stories of the preseason. While Toto Wolff is telling the world that Red Bull is unbeatable, the people at Red Bull are staying calm and focused. This is a classic F1 tactic. By talking up their rivals, Mercedes is trying to create a narrative where they are the underdogs, fighting against a dominant force. This can be useful for managing expectations and for motivating their own team, but it can also backfire. If Mercedes shows up to the first race and is suddenly much faster than everyone else, their earlier claims will look like a clear lie, and it could damage their credibility. Red Bull, on the other hand, is playing it cool. They are letting their performance on the track do the talking. This quiet approach can be just as powerful, as it creates an aura of mystery and makes their rivals even more nervous. They are not giving anything away, and that makes them very unpredictable. The technical battle over the downshifting trick is a perfect example of the innovation that makes F1 so special. The engineers are always looking for new ways to push the limits of the rules. The idea of using aggressive downshifts to generate more electricity is not new, but the 2026 rules have made it much more important. The fact that Red Bull and Audi seem to have mastered this technique so early is a big advantage. It shows that their engineers have a deep understanding of the new rules and have found a clever way to get the most out of them. The fact that Mercedes is struggling to copy this trick is also very telling. It suggests that their engine design, while potentially very powerful, might also have some weaknesses. This technical chess game is what defines a new era of F1. The teams that can adapt the quickest and find the smartest solutions will be the ones that come out on top. The battle is not just about horsepower, it is about efficiency, reliability, and clever engineering. And right now, it looks like Red Bull is leading the way in that department.